Homage to the fundamental teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, homage to the wisdom warrior Manjushri, homage to all the benevolent lineage masters. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million eons. Now that we are able to hear, study, and follow it, may we fully realize the Tathagata's true meaning. In order to liberate all sentient beings from samsara, please generate the supreme bodhicitta before we start today's teaching. Now we will continue with praises to the 21 Taras. By learning this teaching, you have probably realized that Tara is of great blessing. Such blessing is not a myth or a groundless statement. Instead, if we pray to her and think of her constantly, we will undoubtedly experience the swift infusion of blessing from her. I'm sure that after learning this teaching, many Buddhists will purchase the image or statue of Tara, whatever the form may be, and worship her in their shrine rooms or put her in their offices. The image of Tara may be in the form of thangkas or gold-plated statues. In India, there are also many sandalwood or other wooden statues of Tara that are exquisitely crafted. In fact, the Tara teaching is very popular both in the Tibetan region and India. This can be seen from their local cultures and art. In Tibetan region, almost every household has a Tara statue in their shrines. If you go to shops for Buddhist items, you will notice many people purchasing the image of Tara. People who recite the Tara mantra can be found everywhere as well. This situation also applies to India, and also there are many stories about Tara in India. Many Buddhists may have visited the Vajra seat in Bodh Gaya, India. Many stories about Tara happened around there. One story says that there was a bhikshu from the Theravada tradition who was very hostile and slandered the Tara teachings. One time, when he was crossing the Falgu, he was swept away by the waters and was nearly drowned. At that moment, it occurred to him suddenly, Mahayanas have a protector who saves beings from the fear of water called Tara. So he cried out, Tara, Tara. Then Tara actually appeared in front of him and said, You never think of me or respected me. Why do you call for my help now? But Tara got him out of the water anyway. The bhikshu prayed to a wooden Tara statue nearby, and it was exactly the same wooden Tara that came to his rescue. That statue is known as the Tara of the river since then, because she went into the water herself to get the bhikshu out. This wooden statue of Tara was near the Vajra seat, and many went there to worship. Another story about Tara happened at the Vajra seat. There was an old lady who was very devoted to Tara, and she intended to build a shrine room for Tara near the Mahabodhi. She then spent lots of money and hired people to build a shrine. When it was completed, the lady found that the door of the shrine hall was facing the opposite direction of the Mahabodhi, which couldn't be right. She felt very bad about this. However, she couldn't afford to pay for a reconstruction. As a result, she felt strongly remorseful and regretful that she didn't think it through before the construction. Usually, if a building is not well designed before construction, once it is completed, it might either be very unsightly or so poorly built that it may sway in the wind, or receives criticism from others for causing inconvenience for them. Anyway, the old lady felt terrible. On a side note, your problems might be solved by tomorrow if you pray to Tara. She didn't have a clue as to what to do with the shrine. The statue of Tara spoke. If you feel so terrible and regretful, I shall turn my face towards the Mahabodhi. Then the door of the shrine and the statue both turned around in the face of the Mahabodhi. So, this Tara is later known as Tara of the turning face, as she turned her face towards the Mahabodhi herself. There are many stories like these in India. In the Tibetan region, many monasteries have shrine halls for Tara. It's said that in the Sera monastery, there is a shrine hall of Tara. A monk slipped accidentally before the shrine when he was passing by. When he almost hit the ground, he cried out, "Mama!" Like this monk, many of us would call out "Mom" when encountering an emergency. At the same time, Tara responded to him, "Mama is here." The monk looked and noticed that it was the statue of Tara who was talking. When I was young, I always thought of Tara as my mother. In my mind, I trust her exactly the same way I trust my own mother. And I always hold a sincere devotion to her. By praying to her, all the obstacles and disasters in this world can be dispelled. When faced with the problem, my first thought is always, "Tara, please come and help me." Such devotion and conviction is inside me since I was a kid. In my shrine, I have many statues of Buddha Shakyamuni and Tara of different sizes and craftsmanship. I brought them back from countries such as India and Thailand. When I was a child, we used to play games with Buddhist figures. Actually, we didn't really have any statue of the Buddha or Tara. When we were playing, we would put little bones and pebbles on a big rock and took them as green Tara, white Tara, or other deities. Then we would offer fine sand. That's how we played when we were little. I always think, during my life, many obstacles that impeded my Dharma practice have miraculously disappeared. This is inseparable from my sincere prayer to Tara and her powerful blessing. I'm sure some of you here today will have great resources in respect of wealth and power in the future. I hope by then you can install some Tara statues when there's an opportunity. Say you become the abbot of a monastery, then you should first build a statue of Tara in the monastery. This would be very beneficial for the local people in terms of dispelling disasters. All kinds of disasters, including tornadoes, floods, and fires, can be eliminated through the blessing of Tara. In this degenerate time, practitioners who can overcome obstacles all by themselves are extremely rare. Even though we all wish our practice to go smoothly and successfully from the start to the end, adverse conditions would occur, may it be our afflictions or demonic forces. When they appear, our minds are taken under control completely, so it is very difficult to overcome these negativities or bring them under control on our own. However, by relying on the transcendental powers such as praying to Tara, adverse conditions can be counteracted through her extraordinary blessing. Such inconceivable power of blessing for us ordinary beings is hard to describe in words or to understand with conceptual thoughts. Through this study, I believe whenever and wherever you see the figure of Tara, a great devotion will arise in you. I remember that when I was a child, At about 6 or 7 years old, a senior monk who lived next to my tent was a very close friend of mine. He had several thangkas in his tent. One of them was the thangka of Tara, and the rest were some other Buddhist figures. Every New Year's Eve of the Tibetan calendar, if no unexpected events took place, he would hang out thangkas for the entire day. There were about 6 or 7 households living in the neighborhood. We were nomads herding yaks. And there were totally 7 nomadic households, if I recall correctly. When the old monk hung up the thangka of Tara in his tent on the day before the New Year, all of us, kids and grown-ups, would go to his tent and pay homage to Tara. It was in the late 60s to early 70s. In my memory, every time we saw the thangka of Tara, we were very delighted. We all looked forward to the coming of the next New Year's Eve, so we could see the holy image of Tara again. It was an unusual period of time when the religious policy was very strict. It was not easy to see Buddhist-related images. As I was thinking the other day, nowadays we can easily find thangkas of Tara with reasonable prices in stores nearby. Moreover, many thangkas are embroidered with decorative patterns, golden colors, and golden threads that are far more exquisite than the one owned by my neighbor monk. Considering the impact of the Cultural Revolution, Buddhism was virtually devastated, and no Buddhist symbols whatsoever could be seen. When did the Cultural Revolution begin? It began in 1966, right? I spent my childhood during the Cultural Revolution. By the way, there's a song called My Childhood. So, during that unusual time, people felt very grateful and excited upon seeing an image or thangka of Tara. Many old people could not help but crying, tears gushing out as they saw the image of Tara. This happened quite a lot. So, I will say that you are very fortunate to live in such a liberal environment now. That period of history is hard for you to imagine. At that time, Buddhism as a whole was severely damaged and on the verge to vanish. Unlike the past, now you are free to own Buddhism images, and you can display them to anyone, anywhere you like. Back at the time, if we had a Buddha statue, we must hide it secretly to avoid getting into troubles. I remember that my family had a book about the sadhana of Tsok feast of Guru Rinpoche. Every time we move to a new place, we must find a cave to hide it. Even now when I see a cave, the first thing that comes to my mind is, wow, this can be a good cave to hide scriptures. At that time, as soon as we moved to a new place, my parents would ask me to go to the mountains nearby to see if there was a good cave to hide the book, and I would look around to find out. Nowadays, we are free to keep as many scriptures as we like without needing to worry about getting into troubles. Also, we have the freedom to follow Buddhism and even take ordination if we want to. Ironically, we tend to abuse such freedom and privilege nowadays. On the contrary, people's devotion towards Buddhism could be cultivated at difficult times. If we were to live at an age like the Cultural Revolution, many practitioners would be more determined and diligent in learning and practicing. But with all favorable conditions ready, such as qualified masters, good Dharma companions, and accessible authentic teachings, we don't consider the opportunity rare, and thus fail to cherish it. We honestly don't find it invaluable. Well, just a Tara statue has triggered lots of memories and brought me back to those meaningful experiences. I hope that all of you here today, whether you are propagating the Dharma or practicing on your own, you can devotedly follow Tara as the principal deity or Daikini. The praises to 21 Taras was expounded by Buddha Shakyamuni, who manifested in the Dharmakaya form of Buddha Vairocana, to Manjushri, which is mentioned in the afterword. We should recite this praise consistently. You may not find the afterword in this version here, but you can find it at the end of the Tara Tantra. In fact, Tara is the mother of Buddhas of the three times. So as long as we pray to her, she's able to grant us all the common and supreme cities. Of course, to some Theravada practitioners or people holding wrong views, or those who simply reject Buddhism, Tara cannot be such great and powerful. We can hardly change their views, and it is quite common. It's like in the eyes of people with little merit, even gold is seen as worthless as stones. There are plenty of analogies like this in this world, so I will not elaborate. It seems I've gone too far, and now let's go back to the praise. We are at B2, praise for the body aspects. It has two parts. C1, praise for the Sambhogakaya aspects. C2, praise for the Dharmakaya aspect. We have finished C1, praise for the Sambhogakaya aspects. Now we will start with C2, praise for the Dharmakaya aspect. The stanza goes, homage to you, blissful, virtuous, and tranquil, whose field is the peace of nirvana. By the root mantra, with the Om and Swaha, you lay to waste every terrible evil. This Tara is called Tara Prasanti, or Drolma Rabtu Shyiwa. Tara who is perfect peace. Is this the right stanza? Did we skip one stanza? It should be the one before this, right? Okay. Then the stanza should be, homage to you who smites the ground with your palm and with your foot beats it. Your brow deeply furrowed, with whom you smash the seven worlds to nothing but dust. Homage is paid here to Tara Bhikkhuni or Drolma Tronyer Chendze, Tara furrowing brow. With furrowing brow, it's like the wrinkles on the forehead of this Tara. This indicates that she manifests in the wrathful form. But the wrathful form here is different from the wrathful deities such as Dorji Drolo or Vajrakilaya. From Tara Thangkas, we can see the differences. In front of vicious and stubborn beings who are difficult to tame, she manifests a fierce and wrathful form that is different from peaceful and smiling appearances. According to the textual outline, this stanza belongs to E7, praise for protecting self and others. Tara furrowing brow slaps her palms on the earth's surface, normally with her right hand in the gesture of bestowing the sublime. This means she takes all the negativities and demonic forces under control control. Then Tara stamps her feet on the ground. Indicates that she is able to smash all the negativities and evil influences in all the 7 levels of the universe. With her brow deeply furrowed, she utters the syllable hum, which can destroy all obstacles and unfavorable conditions in the universe. This raffle Tara's color is blackish or blue. Her implement is as described. Upon the Uttala in her left hand is a Vajra emitting flames, through which all the demonic forces can be rooted out and destroyed. In some practices, we visualize protective spheres to prevent negative influences. Actually, this Tara is one of the best protections for us. Nowadays, many people love to buy and wear amulets. I believe that the image of Tara is the best protection of all. Last year, I had some small tarot cards made and gave them out to all of you. If you carry it with you all the time or keep it in the car or the house, it will benefit you immensely. It is because under the Tara's protective spheres, all the external obstacles and disasters can be destroyed through her flaming Vajras. She is able to save us from all kinds of danger. We often say that Tara can protect us from the 8 great fears, such as the fear of fire, water, snakes, poisons, etc. All the disasters can be eliminated by the power of Tara. Particularly, some people often suffer from the demonic influences involuntarily. Although they don't seem to encounter any major negativities externally, their minds are very much afflicted, full of obstructing emotions. Reciting Tara can help to overcome such obstacles as well. The reason that some people's practice goes incredibly smooth and successful is that they have protection from within or from their deities. Tara is such a deity who can bestow you protection. There was a Buddhist teacher called Drolma Rinpoche who was born in central Tibet. I read stories about him before that introduced his experience during the Cultural Revolution. His father had served in the Nepalese consulate in Lhasa, and his mother was a simple Tibetan lady. He was put in prison for 3 years during the Cultural Revolution. While he was in prison, he was asked to renounce his devotion to Buddhism. Since he refused firmly, the prison guards gave him a hard time. They said, "Well, now that you wouldn't forsake the 3 jewels, no food for you here. If you want to eat, ask 3 jewels for food. Let's see if your protector can bring you any food." Then in the next few days, Drolma Rinpoche got no food to eat at all. So he prayed to Tara silently. Surprisingly, even though he didn't have any food at all for many days, his complexion became even more radiant, and he didn't feel hungry at all. Seeing this, the guards were scared and believed he must be a very experienced practitioner. Later, he was released through the connection of his father. After being released, he went to Nepal and India. When asked about the conditions in the prison by journalists and masters, he talked about how he received blessings from Tara that helped him go through difficult times. Therefore, regardless who we are, whatever situation we encounter or whichever danger we are in, as long as we pray to Tara, she will help us go through it. Some individuals may think that Tara can be that powerful and effective in blessing. But when they are in dreadful situations, they will come up with any way to get themselves out. Many people don't pray when things are right, but they will pray in difficult times. It's like when you are healthy, you don't care about hospitals or doctors at all. But once you get sick, you must go to a doctor. If the doctor kindly cures you, your attitude to him will be completely different from before. I saw many people who didn't care about healthcare or doctors when they were healthy. After they fell sick and recover later, they show so much gratitude to the doctors who cured them. Similarly, when nothing bad or difficult happens, people tend to ignore the blessing of Tara, thinking, however sublime she might be, it has nothing to do with me. But when they are caught up in difficulties, they wish to get help from the most powerful God or Buddha. We all seem to have such a thought. When we do our daily chanting, we should pray to Tara furrowing brow. There have been manifestations of this Tara in history. According to the Tibetan history, the Nepalese princess Brikuti was a manifestation of Tara furrowing brow. There are records about this in history. Actually, in order to benefit sentient beings, the compassionate Buddha can transform into various forms, male or female, and in various wrathful or peaceful appearances. We should keep a pure mind when praying to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Do not regard them as substantial beings. For example, when we see Dorji Drolo, we may think he is and would always remain in the wrathful form as Dorji Drolo. That is not the case. A good teacher with skillful means may appear to be very kind sometimes, while at other times he could manifest quite scary. This is an expression of his skillful means. If an ordinary teacher can present differently in front of various beings, it is very reasonable for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to manifest in numerous forms in the course of benefiting sentient beings. So we must have the conviction that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can take any forms and conducts. All we need to do is to pray consistently. If you make this a habit, the blessing of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can dissolve into your mind stream at any time. That's all about the stanza that I just missed now. I guess it's okay to explain it this way. What else? Did I miss a stanza again? Any more missing stanza? As I mentioned just now, the next stanza belongs to C2, praise for the Dharmakaya aspect. We have finished all the stanzas of C1, praise for the Sambhogakaya aspects. I have read the stanza and now I'll explain it directly. It says, homage to you, blissful, virtuous, and tranquil. Blissful refers to the fruition she has attained, which is of uncontaminated bliss, free from suffering. Thus, she is blissful. The second quality she has is tranquil. Tranquil means that she has exhausted the objects of karma and afflictive emotions, so she is extremely tranquil. Virtuous refers to the aspect of the causal stage, meaning that she conducted all that is virtuous and refrained from all that is non-virtuous. With the three qualities, she is called Mother of Bliss, Mother of Virtue, Mother of Tranquility. Because she has realized all dharmas free from the two obscurations. Her field is the peace of nirvana. This Tara has actualized the non-dual Dharmakaya that is mentioned in the ornament of clear realization. She is the real Samantabhadri. According to Tantrayana, Samantabhadri is the Dharmakaya of Tara, and Tara is the Sambhogakaya of Samantabhadri. She is in the peace of nirvana. We practice this Tara by reciting her root mantra, which begins with Om and ends with Soha, the complete mantra being Om Dare Tu Dare Dure Soha. This is the mantra of Tara that many lamas teach their followers to recite. So her root mantra has Om at the beginning and Soha at the end. The entire mantra is Om Dare Tu Dare Dure Soha. By reciting this mantra and visualizing light emitting from the body of this Tara, all the negative karma that we committed since the beginningless time can be purified. Even great downfalls such as the 5 heinous crimes, killing people, breaching the 4 root downfalls of vows of individual liberation, can be purified through reciting the mantra and visualizing this particular Tara. According to some Tara practices, this Tara is white in color. Her left hand holds the stem of an Uttala flower. On its pistil stands a perfect vase. Nectars fall down from the perfect vase that purify all the wrong deeds committed by sentient beings since the beginningless time. In certain Tara sadhanas, Lord Atisha taught that Tara practices include the 4 activities of pacifying, enriching, magnetizing, and subjugating. In particular, the activity of pacifying our wrong deeds, illness, and suffering can be accomplished through the Tara practice. In the Venerable Jigme Limba's Dharma, there are also Tara practices. In his Dharma, it mentions 10 qualities of Tara practice, including increasing wisdom, merit, and dispelling demonic forces. The last of the 10 says that Tara practice purifies negativities. In terms of purifying negativities, practicing Vajrasattva is a good choice for confession. Also, reciting the Tara mantra and praises to the 21 Taras are also good ways of confessing our misdeeds. There were cases of purifying misdeeds and dispelling illnesses by the Tara practice. In the history of India, there was a Brahmin teacher, and he had many followers. Because of the ripening of his karma, this Brahmin teacher caught leprosy. Gradually, he gave it to others, and 500 Brahmins were infected with the lethal disease. This made their lives very hard because they lived by the support of others. When all of them had this leprosy, they were rejected by supporters, so they had to live as beggars. One time, they saw a stone-made Tara by the road, holding a slim vase in her hand. A sincere devotion to this Tara arose in them. So they prayed to her to cure their disease and dispel their suffering from poverty. With wishes, they prayed to the Tara sincerely. Surprisingly, a stream of nectar flowed from her vase and fell upon them. And this cured their leprosy. This is a true story. Whenever I think of sick people who are suffering miserably, especially those who are bedridden all the time, I feel terribly bad for them. We might find it hard to empathize with them when we are healthy. But once we fall sick, we will understand how unbearable their suffering is. Some illnesses are simply living torture. Whenever we fall sick or see others being sick, we can dispel the suffering of illness by visualizing Tara. Actually, there are many methods of visualizing Tara through which others' suffering of illnesses or our own diseases can be dispelled. For example, by visualizing the image of Tara and nectar showering down upon us, our misdeeds, suffering, and illnesses can all be washed away. This is an extraordinary practice to clear away negativities and illnesses. All the negativities we create and the sufferings we experience are due to the ripening of our karma, which can be purified by practicing Tara. I once read a story about a Han Chinese woman who was very distressed for having no child after 8 years of marriage. She tried all the possible ways to get pregnant but failed. Hearing that Tara was very powerful, she prayed to Tara and recited her mantra for 1 month. And voila, she was pregnant. Then, she aspired to practice Tara all her life. Because by the blessing of Tara, much of her negative karma was cleansed and favorable conditions for her pregnancy emerged. Personally, I believe that the Tara practice is especially suitable for people nowadays. Tara not only bestows us the ultimate bliss of nirvana, but most importantly, she is very powerful in fulfilling our worldly wishes. Why Indians and Tibetans like the Tara practice so much? That's because they are also ordinary beings with worldly wishes. Ordinary people all wish for power to become rich, to have a good look, manage a successful business, be healthy, and live long, and so on and so on. None of these wishes can be fulfilled by the power of Tara. In particular, if you want a good job or a successful career, these things can be achieved by the blessing of Tara. Despite certain severe karma that can be reversed, such as the grave karma committed in the past or in this present life, their results are certain to be experienced in this life or in future lives. Other than these, negative karma can all be swiftly reversed with the blessing from Tara. I believe that most ordinary people like blessings. Today at noon, a young girl followed me all the way as I was walking on the road. I looked back and walked faster, but she caught up with me. Holding a kata in her hands, she said she wished for my blessing. What do you want the blessing for? Peace, safety, and a smooth life. I felt that her wish reflects the expectation of most ordinary people. Few people ask for the blessing for the next life, nor for the swift attainment of the perfect Buddhahood, or benefiting numerous beings. All they ask for are felicity, a happy and secure life. Felicity and happiness are wishes that Tara can easily fulfill, so you should practice Tara diligently, right? Now, let's move on to the next stanza. The stanza belongs to B3, Praise for the Enlightened Activities. It has 6 subsections. The first one of the 6 is C1, Praise for the Enlightened Activity of Bestowing Wisdom. Homage to you, who immersed in rapture, surrounded by the host of noble ones, shatters the bodies of all foes with Hom, the wisdom syllable adorned by the 10 syllables. This Tara is called Tara Kiranojvala, or Drolma Barwe Ochen, the Tara who is ablaze with light. Speaking of this Tara, her body is of red color. Her left hand holds the stem of an Uttala flower. On its pistil, there is a double Vajra. She is surrounded by the assembly of highly realized beings, such as Vidyadharas and Bodhisattvas, who are endowed with extraordinary attainments of true speech, extraordinary samadhi, eloquence, wisdom, etc. Encircled by those holy beings, her mind is filled with supreme joy. Immersed in rapture, wisdom light radiates from her body, which destroys the bodies of enemies. Some commentaries said that enemies here refer to ignorance. With supreme joy filling her mind, her body emits the syllable Hom and delightful rays of wisdom that can totally smash the bodies of enemies of ignorance and self-grasping, the grasping of I and mine. The array of the 10 syllable Om Tare Dudare Soha adorns and surrounds the syllable Hom. Hom also radiates immeasurable light. The light can dispel all darkness of ignorance in the minds of sentient beings, as well as all kinds of foes in this world. If we recite the mantra of Tara in daily life consistently, all our enemies and adversities can be dispelled too. There was a story in India. Some 500 merchants set out to the ocean south of India to seek treasures. There should be many stories about Tara both in mainland China and the Tibetan region. I haven't collected any Tibetan stories yet. But in daily life, I often hear many people telling stories about how Tara saved sentient beings from troubles. Here's the story. 500 merchants went to the ocean south of India to seek treasures. They took 3 ships going to the ocean together. It was not easy for them to leave their families because seeking treasures was a risky job, and many never returned from their journey. They too took great efforts to reach the island of jewels. After they arrived, they took so many treasures that the ships were filled up. Then they intended to return home. However, the guardians of the treasure, God of the ocean, local deities, were not pleased. It's like if we overexploit natural resources in mountains and rivers to the point that they are destroyed, then it will certainly provoke the local protectors, lords of mountains, earth, waters, and trees. So the lords of wealth of the ocean began to make troubles for them. Fierce wind blew and violent waves stirred up that almost engulfed the ships. All the merchants prayed day and night to different gods. Some called upon Indra, some cried to Mahashvara, some called the sun, and some called the moon. Some held onto jewels in their hands and called the names of the jewels. Some cried out the names of their beloved ones. At such a critical moment, a lay Buddhist remembered that Tara could save people in the most difficult situations as long as people pray to her. So he began to recite the Tara mantra. As he was reciting her mantra, miraculously, the fierce wind gradually lulled. Then they reached home safely. Whatever obstacle we encounter in life, as long as we pray to Tara, whether it's the harm caused by the spirits of mountains and earth or enemies, we will for sure overcome them and see signs of clearing obstacles. According to some great masters from the past, reciting this Tara mantra can dispel the darkness of ignorance and bestow wisdom. These days, in order to pass an exam or to increase wisdom, people prefer the Manjushri practice. In fact, practicing Tara can also enhance our wisdom. For example, practice certain Tara sadhanas or take sacred pills blessed through certain Tara rituals. If you don't know the above means, recite the Tara mantra or praises to the 21 Taras also works. I have heard cases of gaining wisdom by praying to Tara. Some students were afraid of not getting a good mark on their exams, so they recited the Tara mantra 1,000 times on their way to the exam, and they got good results. There are many cases like this. Students here too, if you are not well prepared for exams, you may recite the Tara mantra. But if you fail your exam, you may doubt Tara's blessing. How come I still didn't know the answer even I prayed so hard to Tara? Just kidding. I don't think you would be this unreasonable. Actually, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have the powerful blessing in many aspects, such as enhancing our wisdom and increasing our compassion. It's just that we lack the key of faith, so we cannot get access to the treasures of their boundless blessing. Next stanza reads, C2. praise for the enlightened activity of protecting from horrors and enemies. Homage to Dure, your feet stomping boldly, whose seed syllable appears in the form of home. The mountains of Meru, Mandara, and Vindhya, and all the three worlds, you cause them to quake. This stanza is paying homage to Drolma Pakme Nonam, or Tara Apramiyakra Mani, the Tara of limitless subjugation. To explain the stanza, this Tara assumes an image of stomping her feet upon the earth. Her seed syllable appears in the form of home, and from home radiates boundless light. The light trembles the mountains of Meru, Mandara, and Vindhya, in the realms of gods, nagas, or humans. There are mountains that are known to different realms in either the same or different names. Generally, these mountains are extremely difficult to be shaken by external forces. However, through the power of Tara's seed syllable home, the whole triple world, the desire, the form, and the formless realms, include all the mountains, rivers, and earth within can be shaken and trembled. So nothing in this world can be defeated by the power of Tara. We can say that even the most horrendous forces in the world, including demonic forces and other uncontrollable influences, can all be subjugated by this Tara. This Tara is reddish-yellow in color. Her sitting posture and mudra are the same as those previous Taras. Upon her Uttala flower is a stupa. There is a stupa, right? There should be a stupa, but it's not clear here. Is there a stupa on the flower? Yes? Okay. Then there is. Well, there are 21 Taras in this praise and their images are all different. In this teaching, I have tried to introduce their features so you will know them better. But I didn't go into the deeper meaning, which is hard to understand. Back to the point from the historical and contemporary cases, we know that the blessing of Tara is incredible. There were people who didn't believe in Tara, but generated a strong faith later. In ancient India, there was a great Pandita of the Vaibhashika school whose name was Sanghamitra. He was a well-learned scholar in the Abhidharma Kosha, and one time, Buddha Shakyamuni appeared to him in his dream, and there was a blue goddess beside the Buddha. The goddess told him, "You should train well in the great vehicle." She instructed, in addition to learning Theravada teachings, train in the Mahayana teachings. After waking up, he decided to follow her advice. In fact, the lady in blue was Tara, who appeared as a goddess, different from her normal form. According to her instruction, he went to Kashmir and studied Mahayana Buddhism extensively. On his journey, he was captured by a bunch of bandits. They robbed him of all his properties and took him to the shrine of a Hindu goddess, and intended to kill him as an offering to this female deity. He then immediately thought of Tara and prayed fiercely to her. Spontaneously, by the swift and responsive blessing of Tara, the statue of the female Hindu goddess split into fragments. Seeing this, the bandits were extremely frightened and generated a great faith in him. They not only set him free, but offer him lots of things. Some individuals who used to study Theravada Buddhism and some practitioners of the Chinese Buddhism may doubt the practice of Tara or Vajrayana teachings as a whole, This is actually a serious and wrong view. Their doubt is truly groundless. To study Buddhism holistically, one needs to study not only Sutrayana, but also Tantrayana. Without learning Tantrayana, one's understanding of Buddhism is not complete, and it needs to be complemented. By just learning Sutrayana and not Tantrayana, those profound tantric teachings and practices will always remain unknown to us. Many people think that the Pure Land school is categorized as Sutrayana. That is not the case. Many theories in the Pure Land school can be interpreted based on Tantrayana, which will give you a more complete understanding. Such theories include the validity of Sukhavati, the true kayas of Amitabha, and how he liberates sentient being can be fully understood by the tantric approach. This point should be made clear. To continue with what we have been discussing, praying to Tara can help to overcome lots of sufferings, including unfavorable conditions occurred in our practice. Some people say, demonic forces are very scary, wrong paths and evil demons are rampant. We will not be able to defeat them. At moments like these, the scarier the evil forces are, the more sincerely we need to pray to Tara. Whether in your own practice or in spreading the Dharma, such as building a monastery, if you find the obstacle undefeatable, you must remember to pray to Tara. There was a story in India. There was a Theravada monastery where monks of the Samatya school resided. It was very prosperous with Dharma propagation at that time. At times, however, the monks there were often eaten by rakshas. As we know, at a certain time in the past, rakshas were very rampant in this world. Now we don't see real rakshas much. But other spirits, such as the fox spirits, exist especially in the northeastern China. Some people now are afraid of extraterrestrial beings. Some fear of fox spirits, and some are intimidated by other evil spirits in the southern areas of China. It is important to pray to Tara in moments like that. So, rakshas often appeared around the monastery. When monks were meditating in the forest around the monastery at night, many were eaten by rakshas. One evening, a novice monk was meditating under a tree. A black, ugly raksha appeared, baring its fangs, looking very scary. Rawr, the raksha snatched the monk and grabbed him by the head. Knowing that there was little hope for him to escape, he thought, they say there's a protector from the Mahayana tradition called Tara who can save beings from fears in times of danger. We tend to ignore or simply don't care about how to deal with suffering when we are happy. For example, when I'm healthy, if someone recommends an effective medicine to me, I could care less. But when I'm very sick, I will listen to others' recommendation of medicine, even if I rejected it before. Now that I'm eager to be treated, I will take this medicine, hoping that it will cure my illnesses. In order to survive, the novice began to call the name of Tara. Immediately, a wrathful Tara, brandishing a sword, appeared and threatened the raksha. The raksha was extremely dreaded and asked the novice for forgiveness. The raksha then promised before Tara that no further harms would be imposed to the monastery and other monastics. According to history, from then on, no harms from non-humans occurred ever again to the monastery. Whether it's a historical account or history passed by word of mouth, we should know that they all convey some profound messages to us. These messages aren't meant to scare people at all, nor to make people superstitious. Truth be told, modern education gravitates towards theories like the materialism, which we have been bombarded since young. These theories are brainwashing. With this style of education, we are forced to conform with the materialist way of thinking. Except for money, people don't believe in anything else. I don't appreciate this way of education. The system corrupts people's minds to believe in nothing other than science. They would deny all the inconceivable happenings in this world, like the miraculous effectiveness of unusual remedies of things of the like. It would be fair to say that this is a tragedy of mankind. If we had received Buddhist education more or less since a young age, we would believe we reap what we sow. When something miraculous happens in our life, we will have the ability to comprehend it. Unfortunately, we tend to negate everything that is beyond our ordinary perceptions. Such an attitude is an indication of mankind's ignorance instead of a form of improvement or a sign of progression. We should really reflect on the education we have received while growing up and how we can improve. When faced with profound Buddhist teachings, never think that they are simply meaningless sayings. The inconceivability and profundity of Buddhist teachings are indescribable through languages. All in all, we should pray to Tara when we meet disasters caused by the imbalance of the four elements that threaten the entire world, or obstacles that can hardly be triumphed over. Larangar has gone through adversities in spreading the Dharma over the years. Every time that the unfavorable obstacles occur, the whole Sangha will recite the mantra of Tara Marichi, praises to the 21 Taras, the money mantra, and other prayers. And the obstacles will surprisingly disappear within a couple of days. When some Buddhists get sick or meet adversities, they immediately do some chanting and ask the Sangha to chant too. People with no belief would think this is to be a foolish act. How can they help when things are already critical? Actually, if we practice certain deities, with their respective powerful blessing, problems can be solved at once. To give you an example, say you are stopped by the police for violating traffic rules and the car is towed. Then you use your connections and get the car back with the help from a powerful person. Or you are supposed to be taken into custody for 15 days, but you call a relative who has the connections and influence to get you out. And then a phone call from your relative immediately sets you free. Stories like these are not unheard of, and we never say that they are legendary, right? Okay, let's stop here for today. Today, the female Sangha will chant the praise for us, okay?
一界天人欲飞天，悉皆定待其足莲，救脱所有诸穷困，度母佛母我顶礼。唵，顶礼世尊深度母。顶礼分熏九多母，母如刹那闪电光，三一护珠莲花面，花蕊绽放从中现。顶礼月色白度母，秋白满月聚集莲，圣贤群星同汇聚，金方微光极灿然。顶礼紫墨金色母，莲花庄严奇妙手，不识精进护心经，安忍禅定心静心。顶礼如来顶极母，风智无边尊圣心，获得无余波罗蜜，一切佛子尽一致。顶礼弘一智扎母，生变于色虚空界，其足亚夫其世间，皆能够照尽无余。顶礼地梵供奉母，火神风神自在供，鬼王其世即熏香，夜叉众会皆赞叹。顶礼圣父他方母，扎帕金会地火轮，有趣作神足亚夫，生燃熊熊烈火焰。顶礼大普救度母，摧毁一切凶猛魔，莲花容颜现品美，无欲斩尽诸仇怨。顶礼三宝焰影母，手执当胸芦苇焰，庄严无与诸方论， 生，此之光芒不萦绕。顶礼幻月为德目，定时光满成斑斓。细小大小生咒音，环绕君莫一世间。顶礼戒恶生度目，能照一切菩提身。品美术斗发红光，消除所有诸贫穷。顶礼月相观面目，一切是贫瘠璀璨。无量光佛即重现，恒常光芒最耀眼。顶礼烈焰生度目，如魔劫火烛光满。有神作曲喜姿态，击毁一切诸敌军。顶礼品美生度目，手掌压地足踩踏。面露怒容发红声，击破七重一切处。顶礼安乐柔善目，击灭涅槃心净心。真实咒语嗡梭哈，摧毁一切大罪恶。顶礼明觉红度目，众会围绕即欢喜。愿地之神喜击碎，十字庄严明咒红。顶礼震撼三界目，足踏红香为种子。须弥不学曼达拉，三世间界皆要懂。顶礼灭度生度目，手持天海相交约。颂尔打扰怕自生，无欲灭除一切度。顶礼天王作金目，天人非人现一智。披甲欢喜之为德，千除争斗与恶魔。顶礼孝义生度目，日月双眸光鲜明。颂尔哈绕的打扰，消除巨梦瘟疫病。顶礼聚光生度目，安立一切三真如。正具寂灭为神力，摧魔即事业查中。一根本咒力赞21度目中。
念一下那个咒语。
You can chant the mantra of Tara for several times.
Om Tare De Tare De Re Soha. Om Tare De Tare De Re Soha. Om Tare De Tare De Re Soha.
Sonam dai tam che zeba tham ni be dana pashe jergana jira long chuba chubum zone do